My 10th game of the year, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This game was solid all around. It was a great contender. It was a fun story. A couple parts of it made me cry like a baby. And funny enough, this game was one of the few. Every so often, I finish a game and it does something to my brain, and this was one of them.
Okay.
Some of the ways that this game deals with the big question in the game, especially towards the end of it, had me like hugging my kids harder. Like it's that kind of thing. Like some of the stuff this game deals with transcends gaming, like right into what it means to be a human and dealing with our condition. So, and that was really heavy. Like, so I absolutely loved it. Great game. Next, 9th game for me. And you're going to see a few of these games on my list. And these are games that have been out for years, but they like got their big release this year. 9th for me, CohhKeeper. I've returned to CohhKeeper many times. It had its big 1.0 release. The game is awesome. It's basically a top-down Terraria. The company that makes it, Pugstorm, is 10 of 10. They have, by the way, they're the ones that are making this new Noita Terraria game that looks incredibly cool. So yeah, CohhKeeper, amazing game. I still need to go back and finish that game. But super cool. Love my time in it. 8, Eve's Ass.
I knew it would make the list.
Wait, really? Wow.
This game surprised the hell out of me.
I didn't know you liked it that much.
I not only liked it, I played it like starting it kind of was like, let's check it out. And I finished that game.
For podcast listeners, we're talking about Stellar Blade.
Stellar Blade, not Eve's Ass. Well, I mean, both kind of.
Code didn't play with Eve's Ass, and he didn't finish. Code.
Oh no, I'm gonna let you finish this one. Please go ahead.
I didn't finish that one. I didn't do.
Nope.
This is a PG-13 show.
Yeah, sure it fucking is. Okay, so what we're doing now is Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade is actually an awesome game. It's actually an awesome game. And the way that I really realized that is, at first I thought they were just using the sex to oversell a lackluster game. Let's be real, that happens a lot in the gaming industry. So when I saw this like clearly hypersexualized character, I was like, oh cool, they're doing this to attract players in because they didn't spend a lot of time on the game itself. Turns out that couldn't have been more wrong. Stellar Blade is a phenomenally cool action game. It's got like a very fun story, a very cool post-apocalyptic world. There's fun side characters. There's like great progression systems, some very cool boss fights. Stellar Blade is a great game. And one of the ways that I realized that is when I kind of was playing like at around hour 10, and I was like, you know what? I don't even need the sexy for this game to be awesome. I could be playing some grizzled mid-50s dude that's overweight, and I'd be having just as good of a time. Sure, the sexy's great, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't need it.
I can't wait for that.
It's just a really solid game. Oh, I know, right?
It's gonna be great. The grizzled
Steve, right?
Yeah,
Stevie Blade. But anyway, that's what was my Stellar Blade experience. I started it almost like as we'll see how good this is, and I ended it going, that was really good. Like, let's do Stellar Blade 2. Even the fishing was fun.
Awesome.
Like, hell yeah, man. So that was Stellar Blade.
I concur. Stellar Blade was a better game than I expected as well.
My 7 was Democracy, because damn if that game didn't do a great job of fostering this whole meme atmosphere around it. Like, the game was fun. It was just stupid laughs, people blowing each other up. Like, it was literally a phenomenon. And I still think that Sony extinguished the flame of Helldivers 2. It could be a roaring inferno these days, but like that roller coaster was going up and Sony just pulled the power to the whole ride. I still feel bad about that. And which speaks a lot to the fact that like, even with all that Sony did to this, they're still relatively popular and still chugging along. Like, it's kind of a Cyberpunk situation where it's like, yeah, they have success now, but what kind of success could they have had if they had done it properly? That's kind of what Helldivers 2 is. But it's still a fun game. It's still a fun game, and I just played it a couple weeks ago, still going strong, and it's a great game. Yep. Moving up. Thank you, Barry, for this. Space Marine 2. He was able to fix my list. So Space Marine 2 did make it onto my list. Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 is a love letter to Space Marine fans. There are not a huge amount of times when you can tell that a company, it literally bleeds passion for the IP that they're making. That is Space Marine 2. Saber did such an incredible job of making every minute in that game feel like you are there. be it the iconic scenes, the music, the sound effects, even the voice acting and dialogue is just, it's Warhammer 40K to its core. And they absolutely nailed it. So yeah, that was amazing. What was removed? My 10th was Black Myth Wukong.
Ah, okay.
But I bumped Helldivers, Stellar Blade, Core Keeper, and Final Fantasy down, and Black Myth Wukong got bumped off the list. I liked Black Myth Wukong. I'm probably going to go back and finish it one day. But the fact that I ran out of steam on it, like that's why it was at the bottom. And Space Marine 2, forgetting that was enough to bounce it off the list. So it was my big honorable mention.
Sure.
Number 5. Oh boy, Ichiban. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth had a phenomenal time in that game. Everything that RGG puts down, I pick up. I can't wait for Yakuza. It was a phenomenal, like I did a ton of side content in Like a Dragon and finished the main story. I don't think I ever went back to finish some of the side stuff. That's a little thing in my back pocket for later, because every second you spend in a Yakuza game is fun and entertaining, regardless if you're in it or not. As long as you're not doing like a big main story thing. But I loved it. It was a fantastic game, and I can't wait. Can't wait for more. Can't wait for more. As we get into 4, Satisfactory. What
I thought this would be higher.
amazing game. Satisfactory is freaking awesome. And I absolutely love it. Satisfactory came to me at a point in my life that was very important. I needed something I could get lost in, because there were a lot of things going on in my life that frankly I had no will or energy to deal with at the time. And that was the multiple back-to-back deaths of pets and like all sorts of things. It was really rough. So I actually called it Satis Therapy for a long time, because I would just sit down and just recover, which was great. So yeah, Satisfactory, phenomenal game. Absolutely love it. As we enter the top 3, my 3rd top game of 2024, V Rising.
That did hit 1 point.
V Rising is such a great game. I am currently playing it offline with my kids. I did a almost full run up to the very last boss.
Did you finish the final boss?
I never beat the final boss. And you know why? Because I like having an excuse to go back to that game whenever I want. I also like the fact that if I don't beat the end boss, that I have a reason to do the playthrough again some point down the road. Like maybe if enough upgrades happen, or maybe there's an expansion or something. Like I have a reason to go back and beat that game. And it'll be a big iconic event for me in my personal life when I do. It's going to be fun. But no, I love V Rising. It hit 1.0 this year. In terms of survival games, I don't think there is much that is arguably better for that type of game. Like it does so many amazing things in terms of QOL, mechanical development, progression. Like it is a perfect example of a great survival game. So much fun. So,
dude, you putting that on the list, I didn't even realize, because I had put a couple hundred hours in it before it came out of early access. And I played more of it this year. It's one of my top played games this year, and I forgot to put it on my fucking list. So you're not alone, bro. I would have definitely had V Rising on my list.
I appreciate that, Z. Thank you. Thank you. So there are 2 main games left that my chat knows that I love this year. The question is what order they're going to be in, because I have publicly talked about both of these in different ways. So here we go.
Should I just reveal them both at the same time?
Go ahead.
Okay. All right, there we go.
My game of the year is Stalker 2. My game of 2024 is Stalker 2. And the crazy thing about this is you would have to ask yourself, how in the hell did a game come out that is arguably missing one of its core features and is very buggy, and I had bugs? How is that my game of the year? And the reason being is because I realized that's a game that was buggy, missing one of its core features, and still was my favorite playthrough of the year. That's why it deserves to be on the top of that list. If it did have that A-Life feature, it would have been so far beyond the other stuff, it wouldn't have even like, yeah. But for those who don't know, by the way, A-Life is a very iconic system in previous Stalker games that would essentially run the whole world for you if you were there or not. So if you were in the bottom left of a giant zone, A-Life would run all the other enemies in the zone, even if you weren't there. And that way, if you stumble upon them, there were all these organic, interesting things. Unfortunately, they couldn't jam that system into Stalker 2. they had to do some weird stopgap stuff that didn't really work as well. They're working on putting it back in, and that definitely caused some problems. But even with that not working, and even with the bugs and issues, I spent more quality hours in Stalker 2 than any other game. Anytime I would come up onto a new area or an empty building, I instantly knew there was probably something interesting in there for me to see. There was probably some loot in there for me to get. Every character I met, I knew was going to be an interesting encounter. So much side content that gave so many palpably important and awesome rewards. Just side stuff everywhere to reward you for. Like Stalker 2 is one of the more, in terms of mechanically, one of the better sandbox games I've ever played. And then you tie in all the immersive elements on top of it, and it's just, there's really nothing else like it. When this game gets A-Life installed and all the bugs worked out, it is going to have a Cyberpunk 2.0 style renaissance, where it's going to, like, there's going to be enough different new things in it to where it's going to be one of those games that I think is going to be completely iconic. And then on top of this, the big reason it got into the top of my list, I had expectations coming into Stalker 2, but the dialogue, the characters, the main story, like how far they went with it, was on a level that I didn't even know was possible. Like I was expecting a quarter of what I got on a good day, going from what I enjoyed from the previous Stalker games. They weren't really into that stuff. They didn't really do cutscenes and narrative. Like sure, there was a little, but it wasn't the focus by any means. But in 2, they somehow delivered the sandbox experience on top of like a near double to AAA style main story. Blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. So I can't say enough good words about the game right behind it. Like Stalker 2 for me was a pretty clear game of the year. But if Stalker 2 had not come out this year for some reason, like Indiana Jones, that game, man, I went in with high expectations and it still met or surpassed all of them.
To me,
like, I can't.
That's the shock. Like Stalker 2 at the top of your list. Yeah, the sky's blue. Indiana Jones in the Great Circle. You played that like last week, right?
A few weeks ago.
Yeah, like it was very, very recent.
And I had people telling me before, oh, this is Game of the Year quality. So I went in and be like, yeah, sure, Game of the Year. Okay, I'm Indiana Jones. You just love him. Whatever.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There's no way this is actually like, but no, sure enough, man. I mean, the game Indiana Jones is not only graphically beautiful, the performances and dialogue and writing are phenomenal. It is the soul of Indiana Jones, from the humor to the way they talk to each other, to the way that the enemies and the bad guys are. The story is actually really good. I had multiple jaw drop moments throughout Indiana Jones. That was completely unexpected. And yeah, the combat was fun and engaging. Like I ended up at the beginning, like the fist fighting felt really clunky. And then by the end of the game, I was like looking for opportunities to punch people in the face.
Yeah, I tuned in and you were fucking doing this.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh hell yeah, man.
What the hell's going on?
Yeah, you learn karate is what you learn later in the game. So it was very, very cool. And overall, just the thing about Indiana Jones that is so awesome is everything is good about Indiana Jones. There's not a part of it that is like less than the other parts. And the whole experience is immersive and awesome. They took a risk doing the kind of semi-open world sandbox thing. Totally works. The side quests are so good, I don't call them side quests. They're optional main quests. They're not side quests. And that's because every side quest feels like it's as important as the main quest. You meet entire new characters. You learn crazy new things about areas that you'd never been in. Sometimes like main story stuff you learn in the side quests. The puzzles were actually really good too, which was very interesting. I thought that was kind of fun. And apparently the different difficulty levels change how the puzzles are, which is really cool. So yeah, great game. Anyway.
Fantastic.
That's my top 10 for 2020.
All right. We'll let you know the combined list. I'll drop it in Discord or something for you, Co.
Yep. Perfect. Sorry, I have to leave a little bit early, guys. Yeah, I got to run and get dinner for my kids and everything. So yeah.
Fantastic.
Thank you boys so much for another fun year.
Yeah.
Good list, Co.
Thank you. And I will definitely be tuning into yours. Real quick before I go, next week, I think I'm off and Zeke's off maybe, but we're also doing that other thing. So
yeah,
I'll talk to you later about that, JP.
We'll have to have, yeah. There's some stuff we can't talk about, chat. That's probably going to happen. And I don't think, we'll talk. We'll have a conversation.
Okay. Sounds good.
We'll let you guys know.
All right, guys. So. I'll actually give you like a nice one before I go this time. So anyway, Bye, everybody.
Fantastic. Wow, look at that. A nice face for Co.
Look at that.
Fantastic. All right.
It's no JP champ, but it's pretty good.
It's no what? JP what?
JP Champ, right? That was
Hero.
with your
That's
suit.
Hero.
Hero. Damn it. Hero. Sorry. My
Hero.
bad.
How dare you? It's Champ.
I'm sorry. Hey, Champ, Hero. Whatever. Fuck you.
It's
Okay,
Hero.
CohhCarnage. I can jacket
Take
off.
the
Jesus.
fucking jacket off. Let's start.
I'm
cursing
taking it
about-
off. I'm leaving the tie on though.
Jesus Christ. Now we can actually have some real conversations here. All right, how do you want to do this? Do you want to just bounce back and forth so we're not blabbing the entire time?
Sure, yeah, that sounds good to me, buddy.
All right, for me, I think this is going to probably be on your list, but it snuck in at the back of mine, which is, I always start to struggle when I get to the like 7, 8, 9, 10 spot on mine, but I never have issues with like top 5. I think that's just a me thing, but it's how it went for me.
No. It's definitely the bottom of the list is harder.
Yeah.
And the top of the list. Yeah.
This is a game I wished I would have finished, but just for the, I don't know, 10 hours or so that I played of Pacific Drive, it fucking nails the entire thing that it's going for. It's very much a like, for a game about a survival game about a car, it has no right being as immersive as it is. It's like, how the fuck? How did you do that? How did you make that so immersive? So yeah, I think Pacific Drive, if you haven't checked that out, is there a demo for that game? I want to say there is.
Let me look.
You should definitely check it out. You should definitely check it out.
Okay.
If you haven't, it's good.
No playable demo.
Damn, no playable demo. Okay. I do want to, it's on Game Pass probably.
At least on Steam. Yeah, I looked on Steam.
Okay. Yeah. You should check that out. It's good. Pacific Drive is great. Zeke, what's your 10th?
Well, my 10th would have been different if I remembered V Rising came out in 1.0 this year. But I totally forgot because I have okay, just so you know, I have 300 hours in V Rising in different sections. One when it first released in EA and when they came out in 1.0. Loved it. But I forgot. Saw it not on the list. I'm not going to bug Barry about it. My number 10 game is a Devolver Digital game that was high action, fun, great fucking music. I played all the way through it. I got all the challenges done. It's a Devolver Digital joint called Angerfoot.
Oh, okay.
I love this game. I played a little bit on stream, and then I went through as much as I wanted to stream it, and then I went through every single level, and I got every star. Like, there's 3 stars per level, like, challenge, like, do it with only this, do it with it while jumping, do it while this and that. And that was so much fun. I had a blast playing it. It's not a complex game. It's go through a level as fast as you can, get to the exit. That's all it really is. But the challenges really added some flavor to it. It's like only use this pair of shoes, only this. And it goes really fast. And when you get it down, like some of the challenges are pretty fucking hard. But when you get it, it's one of those like, yeah. It's one of those feelings. So good. So good. But good. I really enjoyed it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go up to 9 then and go back to you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Number 9, Silent Hill 2 Remake.
Okay.
It was good enough to get on my top 10. It was fun, immersive, sound design, like everyone knows, really, really good. The story was something obviously taken from another game. It's always weird putting a remake on my list because it's not a brand new game, blah, 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 whatever. But I enjoyed my time with it. I loved streaming it. I loved, talking, like, we had a lot of lore heavy people like that know the Silent Hill 2 lore that were helping me out. Like, oh, that's this means this, the photographs, blah, blah, like so much fun. Was it like a revelation? No, but it was a fucking good game all the way through.
Makes sense. I was wondering where that was going to be on your list because it was such a widely remarked game. And I know you also liked it as well when we spoke about it. Number 9 for me, this might be a drop frames first. My most disappointing game is also my number 9 game, Dragon's Dogma 2. Even though I hated that end game, I fucking love the rest of that. I love building up to that game, man. When you get in that game and you start walking around and casting tornadoes and fighting and launching people, and you got a giant axe and you slam that and you kill a thing, and Capcom knows how the fuck to do that. And I had an absolute blast getting through that. And then I hit the end game, and I think it would have been a lot higher had there have been. I mean, I can't get into it because of spoiler purposes, but it's not what Dragon's Dogma 1 was. DLC could save it, and I think if it does come out and save it, I'm right back there, and I would love that. I also really, really, really would love, I know it's a little bit Monster Huntery, but I would really love like some sort of co-op Dragon's Dogma. I think that would be so fun to just go through like an RPG adventure in that type of world where you can just have things crash down on you and you have to fight them. It's so fucking epic every time it happens. And it would just elicit like pure joy when you would have like a massive hammer or anything, any sort of combat in that game just elicits pure joy. So that was number 9 for me. Number 8, I think this was on your games you wish you played. And I actually do think you should check it out. I finished this game in full. I think I was one of the only people to do it on the internet.
Infinity Nikki?
No. And it's probably, it was a very odd game to stream because I felt like when I streamed the game, I felt like I was some sort of like bastion of the last bastion of the internet where people would like scurry into the room in hushed voices and like cloaks and be like, I like Star Wars. And I would be like, so do I. I like Star Wars too.
Me too.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Welcome to it. Welcome to the cantina. And I had a blast with Star Wars Outlaws. I really enjoyed that game. It was cool. I think the story was very cool. I liked all the big reveals in it. If you're like a Star Wars fan, it delivers on the idea of like saying, you know, kind of like fuck this whole Skywalker thing, fuck Jedi. You're a bounty hunter. Yeah. Like you're not a bounty hunter. You're a smuggler. You're just like a normal scoundrel in the world of Star Wars. And I love.
No, that's exactly. You just explained exactly why I wanted to play it because it's not a Jedi thing.
Yeah. So I had a great time with Star Wars Outlaws. And it's such an odd game because they put out a patch recently where it's like, we redid all of our stealth. Yeah. All the stealth's been redone in the entire game. So I haven't experienced that. I don't actually know if you guys were to play it now for the first time, what it would be. Because I haven't played any of their new patched content on any of that, which is kind of weird saying that I played a game that you probably won't be able to get to experience the exact same way that I did. But apparently it's better. So if you want to check it out, Star Wars Outlaws is out there. Zeke, what's your number 8?
Number 8 game. This is going to be a weird one because it's probably not going to be on anybody's list. Oh, and I just wanted to mention, like, seeing Co's list, we share one game on our top 10s. If you don't count, like, my V Rising, I said it was going to be.
Okay, yeah.
But
share a couple.
We only share one game, funny enough. But my number 8 game was a game. It's not as good as the first, no question. But it's still, man, I had a blast with it. Sons of the Forest.
Really?
Yes, I really liked that game. I know, it's so weird, but like,
that's awesome.
This is not best games. This is favorite.
Yeah,
I had a blast playing Sons of the Forest, especially with the weird, extra limb lady leading Kelvin around.
What was? Oh, fucking Kelvin! I'm trying to remember what my name for that girl was. Was it? Chad will tell me. Yes. That is a fun game. You're right about it. Linda.
I just really enjoyed my time with it. And I'm not going to tell you it was better. I'm not going to tell you it wasn't buggy. I'm not going to tell you it was good as the first one. But did I personally have fun with it? Yes, I had a blast. And playing it co-op was also my first taste of the game, or one of my first tastes, was playing it co-op. And that was a lot of fun too.
So would you say that Sons of the Forest is, because I feel like you had a renaissance this year. I feel like you discovered that you like survivor games.
Yes, I discovered that last year, but yes.
Okay,
I do like survivor. I do like certain survivor games.
What was the catalyst for that? Do you remember the
Valheim.
exact? It was Valheim. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
that tracks then. Yeah.
No question, it was Valheim.
Yeah,
I played Valheim for a little bit. I'm like, man, I want to play a little more.
Yeah.
Of this game, and I don't know why. And then I played that for hundreds of hours. I'm like, maybe I'll give V Rising a chance.
You got to get the.
And then I was like, okay, maybe I'll give Pal World a chance. And then and then I just I'm like, I actually like these games, I guess.
Dude,
so,
the newest Pal World update that came out like last month or 2 weeks ago or something, it's apparently really good. Its Steam numbers shot back up, so might be time to dive back in if you're looking for something to jump into in the survival world. Seems like a good one.
I've heard.
Yeah,
I've heard.
Number 7, Zeke, hit me.
Number 7 is, this one, personal. Obviously, all of these are personal. But this one, I feel like I have to, explain, I fucking love Star Trek. I'm way more a Trekkie than I ever was a Star Wars fan. And I had so much fun playing this game because it was very much, very, very true to Star Trek and Star Trek Resurgence.
Yeah.
I had a blast playing this, talking about our memories of watching TNG with the chat, and it was very faithful to what you would want out of if being a Star Trek fan. It was very faithful for people who like the series and like the genre or the IP. And yeah, it was great, and I had a blast, and it was my third favorite streamed game because of that.
Yeah. I watched, I've actually watched like a pretty, I wouldn't say full playthrough of that, but I wouldn't say I'm like the biggest Star Trek fan, but it was enough to be like, hey, I understand that's a Star Trek thing. So I could point out exactly what was happening. And it seems like they did a good job with that. Definitely like a AA experience though. Would you say that's an accurate way to describe Resurgence for people? Yeah.
Definitely not AAA. It's developed by Dramatic Labs, published by Brunner House. So it's not like it didn't get like the star treatment that's, games of, early 2000s got with the actual voice actors and shit like that. It didn't get that treatment at all. But you could tell it was made by fucking fans.
There you go. Fantastic. My number 7, I will just say, Bear, if we just want to shut down the stream over in Co's neck of the woods for 3 minutes, that would probably be best.
Oh, are they going to get on you, dude?
I really enjoy high school, Life is Strange, bullshit, YA stories. No, I put 70 hours into this game. I had a great time. I think it's because I didn't have any of the other Dragon Ages to be like, oh, they messed this up. For me, it was just, I had a fun time walking around in this world. I had a fun time fighting things. I 100%ed that, which is not something I typically do, especially for massive RPGs like this. And I enjoyed the gameplay aspect of it. It's honestly what kept me coming back for more. And I would probably even be interested in checking out some of the other builds in terms of playing like a mage instead of a rogue. It sucks that you couldn't respec halfway through the game, et cetera, et cetera. There are obviously issues with it, and that's why it's number 7 for me. But I had a great time with Dragon Age Veilguard. I had a really good time with it.
No, it's like a lot of if you watched Back to the Future 3, you'd be like, this is without having watched the first 2, you'd be like, this is a fine movie. I do not mind this movie. It is entertaining, and I liked it. And then you watch 1, and you're like, oh, that's shit comparatively, for sure.
Yeah. No, I had a great time with it. And there is, I think I did have some sense of satisfaction anytime because it was a very weird playthrough. Kind of like where Star Wars was a weird playthrough. Watching other people play this game was very almost an out-of-body experience, because it was like their stream was filled with hyenas and they would throw fresh red meat to them nonstop. Whereas with me, I'd be like, oh man, that was a really weird scene. And then we would just move forward as a stream, and like no one would fucking like lose their mind and have to go like cut themselves to feel better or something. Like it was fucking crazy how much hate the game was getting, and I was just like, oh, all right, cool. Let's just move forward.
Like when you walk into a fucking minefield of fandom, when you're like, hey, I really like Jar Jar Binks, and everybody's like, no, get out. You're like, oh, it was my first Star Wars movie I ever saw, and I liked that. He was funny. Like, no, he wasn't. He ruined everything. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it was a very odd experience because, I mean, he's not here. I'm sure he would speak to it, but like when I would go and watch this stream, co-stream the game, it was crazy. Like it was just. You couldn't enjoy it. Like it's 5 hours of people just like spewing just shit nonstop. And so it was one of the few times where it's like, man, I'm really thankful that I have like a small like echo chamber community where I don't have to deal with that. Because if you hit like a certain level of viewership, it just invites like nonsense. And so it was one of those games where I think I enjoyed the game more by having a smaller stream, which is not, as a streamer, that's kind of rare. Like typically you'll enjoy games more if you have a bigger audience to stream it to.
Sure.
But yeah, this was the inverse. It was a very weird experience.
Absolutely understand that, dude. I completely get that. Ignorance is so much bliss sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Not knowing the history of things. Like I played games that people came back to later like, hey, did you know the people who made this game are just terrible? They're fucking like space Nazis or something. Like, oh my God, oh shit. I guess I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah. And you're like, guys, we're going to change the game today. Oh man, that's funny. Anyways, that was my number 7. I'll do 6 since we're kind of bouncing back and forth. This game for me came out of nowhere. I was kind of excited about it, only hearing about what happened in Helldivers 1. And then like Helldivers 2 came out and you like landed in that first mission and then like, 8 hours went by and you're just like, holy shit. Like I just did the most I just shot things for 8 hours and it was the most fun I've had in such a long time. Just shooting. Like you don't even get good. I would say I actually don't like the rewards in that game. I don't like any of how like the unlocks, but when you're like walking around and you see a massive nuke go off, you're just like, fuck yeah. Like that's fucking all like that right there. Yeah. I want more of that. And you can just do it nonstop. And it feels good.
I'll be honest with you.
It puts a smile on my face every time I do it.
I'll be honest with you. I liked like the outside of the game better than I enjoyed the game itself, but I like the outside of the game better.
Like the memes of it or the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like Super Earth needs you and like democracy or what was it? No, it was liberty. You know, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
The shit surrounding it was so much fun.
It was a very cool experience. And the fact that it's all co-op and like that works well. I think when he was talking about it was like, just imagine how big that game would have been if Sony didn't do what Sony did. And I 100% agree. Like, I think that only hurt the game in the long run. And they'll kind of be playing catch up for it the entire time. That game
seeing exists. How big it still is a testament to the game.
Sure. Yeah.
Even after all that shit.
Yeah, without question. It's the type of game where if Max, Gassy, you, if anyone was like, hey, you want to play some Helldivers for an afternoon? I'd be like, yeah, I want to go kill some things. I'll check that out for 2 or 3 hours. It sounds like a great time. So that was my number 6, Helldivers 2. What was yours?
My number 6 is the one that I share with Co on the list, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Okay, I thought that would be higher on your list. Okay.
I thought it would too, but like, I say
why
this
wasn't it higher? Let's.
No, exactly. I say this every year, and I'm going to say it again. I stress over this. Like, this is important to me for some reason. Like this show, like this Games of the Year show. So I sit there and I think about it. Like, I take into the factor. Like, my biggest factor is how much fun did I have while playing it, and how much did I want to go back to it? if viable. You know, if it was a game I didn't finish in one stream, like how much did I look forward to going back and playing more of it, or finishing it, or how much fun during, and that's why it's the games that are higher are there for that reason. I have nothing bad to say about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I have like barely any negatives whatsoever. The combat to begin with, a little fucking janky. Didn't care for that, but I did play it on the easy combat difficulty and the hard puzzle difficulty. But like Cohh said, the puzzles were fucking great. They felt very Indiana Jones. The whole thing, just like Star Trek Resurgence, was very much faithful to the Indiana Jones that I know and love.
Nice.
And I thought they did an excellent job. And they had my character, or my favorite performance in Emmerich Voss, the antagonist of the game. And it made it on the list. It might have been higher if I would have done more of the side shit, but I didn't do a lot of that at all. Like I kind of left the side shit in the dust, and I didn't speed through the game, the main story, but I did main the main story. You know, I just did that.
Yeah.
And it was still excellent.
Yeah,
still excellent. But
cool.
That's the only reason why. It's not for any technical aspect, any bugs, anything like that. It was just because the other games, like number 5, which is the holy gosh darn.
Okay.
I know.
Wait, did we hear about this game?
Yes, I said I had about, I don't know, 10 minutes on the stream that I talked about the holy gosh darn.
Oh, I remember this now. Yeah.
You play an angel that has to like prevent the apocalypse from happening in heaven. That being said, the game itself is so like, it was on the list for best writing because it was so humorous and funny, and the wit was just on point throughout the entire game. And I looked forward to every new, because it's one of those games where you loop or you turn back time and stuff. So you do something and you're like, okay, turn back time. And the care they took to make everything different when you do other things, like, I'm going to talk to this guy. I'm going to get this amulet. Now I'm going to re-talk to this guy. And it's completely different dialogue. And it's great. I just fell in love with the game. I did not see it coming. I did not expect it. But boy, did I have a fucking blast playing this game.
Nice.
And yeah, it's relatively it's a 12-hour game. I beat it in 12 hours, but it was a game that I also like to look for the extra shit. And if you look on the Steam page, I'm not even kidding you. The thing that sold me on this game when it was suggested for Indie Day, the thing that sold me is there's a still image on the Steam page of the main character talking to a guy, a butt with legs.
Yep. I clicked on that image first and no other images. And I was like, he's about to say she's talking to a butt with legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. I won't show it, but you can go look at it.
Yeah. It was super fun. It was witty. And the gameplay was nothing revolutionary, but it was solid. It gave you kind of sort of a Metroidvania type of feel where there were inaccessible parts of the map that you had to get like double jump, or you had to do like missions to get like open this door, blah blah blah. But yeah, I absolutely loved it, and I didn't expect it. It was also one of my biggest surprises.
All right. I feel like your top 5 and my top 5 are going to be, mine will be very much everyone could guess. Your top 5, no one's going to have a fucking clue. And that's awesome. That's exactly what I want it to be. My number 5 shows up on Cohh's list. It would have been higher for mine, but I ended up getting very, very sick and I could not revisit the game. Not because of the game, but it was the game that I found that I was also deaf in my left ear too. So there's a lot of big life moments in Satisfactory. But it was a really good, and same for Cohh, actually, kind of funny enough. It was a very, I guess, like, you could just lose yourself to that game. Cohh kind of already said it all. I built that massive, massive structure, just the biggest base I could ever comprehend. And I put like 2 things in it. And then I was like, Okay, I'm going to go get sick for about a week. I'll see you guys. And now I have no interest in returning to it. I think had that not have happened, I would have completely filled up that base and done, all the tier 9 thing or whatever it was. Whatever the last tier was. But yeah, Satisfactory. It was a game ever since I played it when it was in early access. I knew that I was going to do a full playthrough of it, or as much as I could. When 1.0 came out, and I had an absolute blast bringing people on, Gassy and Sips and all them, and having them just design different parts of the world and different factories and all that. So if you haven't played Satisfactory, you need to. It's worth it. Even if I would say you're not super interested in those games. Grab some friends and jump into a world.
Might have been my number 4 on the list of like games I wish I played.
Yeah.
But
it's good.
Man, it just really like as good as people say it is, it really does not feel like a game for me at all.
It's yeah.
And I like survival games, now.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
And it's not really a survival game.
I
though,
wouldn't
is
say
it?
it's a survival game. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's there. It's honestly kind of like it is a little bit of like production job simulator.
And that's why though. Like that's like
management
games,
simulator.
They just don't jibe with me.
It's a lot.
It's like if I wanted to work in a factory, I'd do that instead of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I have worked in a factory.
Sure. Yeah. Next game for me, this game would have been higher, and I still stand by the fact that this is also going to put me in some hot water, but hey, I got opinions. I think Metaphor Refantasio is a fantastic game. Is that your number 4 as well?
Baby.
There you go. Now, let's take it a different direction because we've talked about it. I think Persona is a better series still. How do you feel about that? Could you compare the two? Do you even want to compare the two?
No, I agree.
Okay. All right. Good. Yeah. I love what they did here.
I like the Persona better. Yeah.
I will say, and the reason we're doing this, Chad, is because we've talked about how good Metaphor is and the entire show. So it's going to be a little bit odd. But the entire time I'm playing Metaphor, I'm thinking, man, I wish this was Persona. I wish this was Persona 6. Like I think I'd be into this a little bit more if this was Persona 6. And I kind of like the message and the story of the Persona games a little bit better. But I totally understand why people would resonate with the story of Metaphor, especially given the last year. The idea of like hope and looking forward to the future and trying to build a better future and a better place for everyone involved, that type of stuff. I totally get why that would resonate with you. There's nothing, wrong with that. I think I just wanted a Persona game. That's why it's not higher on my list. But I spent 90 hours with this game, 100%ed it. I played on the hardest difficulty, and I loved every fucking second of it. So it's definitely worth playing. I'm not saying by any means. I do kind of wish it was a little bit of a Persona game. And I'm obviously very excited for whenever Persona 6 does occur. But yeah, that's why it's my number 4. That being said, all the positive stuff we've already said, just throw that into why it's number 4. Anything you want to add about it?
Yeah, I actually, this just like displays what I'm talking about. The difference between Metaphor and Persona for me is this. This is Metaphor. It's good, great, good, great. Metaphor is good, great, good, great.
Oh, okay. I get it.
Yeah, it just has longer moments of greatness, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
like Metaphor has fucking awesome moments. But there is a lot of time where it's just like, we gotta reiterate this thing again and again and again and again. It's like, okay, all the games do that, but Metaphor really did it.
Yeah, there is a lot of not that I watch or know about these type of tropes, but it has a lot of anime tropes in it. And that Persona does as well. But they do tell you what's happening multiple times
But I also like the main characters of most of the Persona games. I liked it way better than this guy.
Yeah.
This dude.
That being said,
you're not Joe. man. You're this dude.
That's true. I didn't like the main character compared to Persona games, and maybe that's where it falls off. But I will say, the side stories and the social links, I think, are better than Persona for my interest. Like Heiseme's story, incredible. I loved the shopkeeper story that sells the igniters. Her story was fucking awesome.
I agree. It's
like,
less
there's a lot
downtime.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
And what I really liked about it, even though I kind of followed a guide, I mean, a guide in like, because I was trained by Persona games to be like, you can't do everything unless you do it this way.
Right.
So I was like, okay, Metaphor, I'm going to look up a guide so I don't miss anything. Turns out, you don't really have to. You don't really have to. And I was surprised, like, towards the end of the game, it's like, there's a lot of game that they're just like, okay, the guide was like, you have this many days to just do what the fuck ever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I followed this meticulous list and I didn't even have to do that.
I was trying to say as such. I do hope that everything that's in Metaphor gets applied to future games. Like,
oh God, I hope so. Yes.
If there's anything learned from Metaphor, it's that it's a stepping stone to a greater Persona game. And that's, if anything, that deserves maybe Game of the Year for me. If we could have a better experience in Persona, then I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
No, but like I was saying, like all the bad shit, like I look forward every day, like off stream. It's like, all right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. I got my headphones, go in the bedroom.
Yeah, just vibe out.
Metaphor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
For sure. All right. Well, I revealed both of our fours. You can reveal your third. We'll see where.
Okay, number 3 is gonna be one of those Zeke choices that you're like, whoa.
Okay. All right.
Never heard of it, or maybe I heard of it. This game, not only mechanically was fucking solid, it was so much fun gameplay wise, so satisfying to play once you get it down, but also the characters and voice acting, it's a revenge story done so well. It's like it's the closest I think you could get to being John Wick in a game so far. And the game is called I Am Your Beast. Not Ratchet.
Oh,
no.
fuck. Okay. I Am Your Beast. I Am Your Beast.
It's called I Am Your Beast. Absolutely loved that game. I 100%ed that one as well.
Nice.
It's a game where it's a revenge story, but that's not like you can enjoy the game without enjoying the story, because it's a level attack game where it gives it's similar to Angerfoot, where it gives you like challenges to do every single level. It's like, do this level in this amount of time, do this level with only knives, do this level, blah, blah. But it's, as far as a first-person shooter goes, which don't usually jibe with me, it is very forgiving in like the aiming. It's not aimbot, but it's definitely like, you were close enough to the head, we'll give you a headshot kind of a thing. And I love that because it made me feel like a super badass, especially when you've been trying to level 30 plus times, because you have to do every single thing exactly right to get the challenge star.
Yeah.
Once you do that, it's same feeling. It's just like, fucking yeah, did it.
Nice.
But if you are someone that likes story or voice acting, it's a it's a shorter game. It doesn't take that long to play from start to finish, but it has this great, like, I'm a special forces like assassin something, and the guy's like, I'm calling you in, Jason Bourne. And he's like, I'm not killing for you anymore. He's like, well, then I'm gonna send people after you. And he's like, do it, I fucking dare you. And you just feel like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking, I'm getting out of the life, but I'm gonna kill some people because you're not gonna let me out of the life.
That's
awesome. That kind of story, and it's really well voice acted too.
Okay, fantastic. I'm Your Beast. Yeah. Another one that I think a lot of people are gonna be checking out for the first time.
Yep. Blame the bunny from your chat. It's a little like Neon White, more story, more gritty, but yes, a little bit like, yeah.
Got it. My next one. This is kind of just what order, kind of what Ko was saying, what order they're going to go. And it might even be somewhere on your list, potentially. It's not a shocker. It's old Astrobot. Coming in at number 3. It's just
you better reveal my number 2.
okay. It's just a game that fucking games. And that's all
It's a game.
it's a fucking video game, man. And here's what I'll say, and I almost said it to Co. If you think you're not gonna like it, fucking play it for 5 minutes. That's all. It just take 5 minutes. All you need is 5 minutes. If you're not smiling, then the game's not for you. But I guarantee
Or
you,
bopping.
yeah, I guarantee you, that you're gonna check that game out and be like, God damn, this is a fucking video game. That's all you got to do.
Fun, dude.
Yeah,
It's
there's
not
no
super challenging.
No.
It's just really fun.
Yeah. There's no like I don't even know if you can pitch this game. It's just like, yeah, it's really good. You should probably play it.
Yeah.
And like that's all you have to say, I think.
I'm hoping for all of you that it comes to PC.
Same. I get it on as many
want you to
platforms as possible. Obviously, that's not going to happen because Sony owns it, but bring it to PC, put it on anything. It's a game that deserves, I think, to be played ultimately. And if anything, not that it should matter, but seeing the devs at the Game Awards, I have like the utmost respect for them, even more so with just how jovial and well spoken they were. It was just nice. It's just a nice thing.
Yeah,
it was really cool to see that.
Yeah.
So definitely my number 3. I had a blast.
Yeah, my biggest surprise for a reason, because I was exactly the same. Like, okay, I played Astrobot, I played the virtual Astrobot. It was cute and stuff, but man, it was just a treat, just a nice treat.
Yeah.
It's like, do you want a chocolate chip cookie? Yes, I would like a chocolate chip. This is a chocolate chip cookie game.
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't do it. The amount of times that you're playing that game and I had the like, oh, that's really cute, or like, oh man, that's really smart. That's clever as shit. Like it happened billions of times.
Yeah. And the little interactions with the bots you save, like the nostalgia that you have for like seeing, God of War or Kratos, Dante, like Resident Evil. You see all the little bots, the little care that they took for their interactions. They're like 3 to 10 second like little scenes when you see them, like after you save them, you go like interact with them, and they're like, like, I don't like cute shit. And I was like, oh
yeah, it puts a smile on your face. As a streamer, I'm sure you can kind of relate, if not fully relate. Every once in a while, I realize that I have words that I say over and over, and it's like, I gotta stop fucking saying that because I've said it too many times. For instance, go look at this show and see how many times I've said, for instance. It's gonna break your brain. And it'll probably ruin me as a host of this show, as well as that's interesting. I say that a lot. Zeke knows that firsthand. But as I'm playing that game, I'm pretty sure my chat said that I said, man, that's so clever, about 100 times. Like I didn't say anything else. I just smiled and said, man, that's so clever. We went forward. So play Astrobot if you have the means to do it. If not, hope that they port it to all the platforms possible. I'll do number 2, then we can reveal number 1 at the same time and talk about it. Cool.
If you want to, yeah, you bet.
Yeah, for me, number 2 was Space Marine.
Oh,
Space Marine, man. This could have gone on most surprising, because like I think going into Space Marine, you can even go back and watch the show that we had Burke on, when Burke and Co started talking about Warhammer. It was like when me and Co would talk about PoE. Your eyes glaze over, and you kind of stop. You just stop, and you're like, "What is happening? Like, what's going on, man?" I just couldn't be bothered to hear about 40K lore. I played the game, and I'm just like, man, I get it. I fucking get it now. Like, I understand this shit. I get it. It is a hell of a thing. Power fantasy. I said that a billion times earlier today, and it is like it is like pure distilled. Just kind of like what Doom does, in a lot of
Yeah.
ways, but this one's like in a third-person shooter experience. And even like when we did that sponsored stream a couple weeks back, all of that like came back to where it's just like, God, it just feels so good killing these fucking Tyranids or whatever it is we were killing. Tyranids or other Chaos Marines or whatever. It feels great. Really nice.
And coming from someone who I'll just tell you, it's not number one for me. It's not on my top 10 list.
Yeah.
But I will say that I had infinitely more fun playing it co-op than I ever did the solo.
Yeah. The co-op experience is definitely a fun one. And I mean, I'll go as far as to say, like, if you have the means, play it with friends. Like you'll have that like kind of like Helldivers. You'll have that like, yeah, that's fucking badass type deal. And just walking around in that world, you feel so cool. You feel like such a fucking just badass. It's kind of like that's my entire review of the game. Warhammer Space Marine 2. Badass. That's all you got to say. That's all you got to say. Anyways, our number ones. You know, I think ours are different enough. I don't think we have the same number one, funny enough, like we have in past years. So let's go ahead and we'll just do them individually. Please tell me your number one game of the year of 2024.
Okay. I was almost sure that this was going to be in my top 10, if not my game of the year, after I played it earlier in the year. And I'm like, man, it's going to be tough to beat. And there was a few games that tried. Astrobot really tried. But I'll tell you, man, it stuck with me long after I played it. And I look forward to like delving even more and more and more into the game every time until I finished it. Pacific Drive. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was one of the most immersive games I've ever played. I just sat down in that driver's seat and I was there, like more than most other games I've ever played. Like I was just like, I'm here now.
Yeah.
Like I got my car, I got voices on the radio, but they're not even here. It's just me and my vehicle. That's why the vehicle was my like favorite character of the year, because it was just me and old Bessie. And we were just cruising around and we were cataloging anomalies. We were figuring out what the fuck was happening. It was a mystery. It was well written. The ending did leave a little bit to be desired. I won't spoil it, but it did leave a little bit to be desired. But it's left it open-ended enough where I'm like, they can make more games in this genre or with this IP. DLCs, like all kinds of stuff. But yeah, it's just like games of the year in the past. It's games where you walk away and you're still fucking thinking about it for like hours afterwards. You're like, oh shit, they said this. Like just sitting there pondering it. And it didn't like grab me immediately. But once you get like, oh, this is how to play, or this is how I want to play, it clicked. And I'm like, I look forward to every single hour that I played that game. And just out of curiosity.
Yeah, what was your played time?
51 hours.
Okay.
I really explored that game. Yeah. So I put 50 hours into it, and I loved every single second of it. And every time I got to sit down and play it, I was super happy. The world just fell away. And that's what I think great games should do.
Yeah.
Is they don't have to necessarily be immersive sim games or anything like that. It's just a game that makes the world go away. Pacific Drive.
Yeah, it's good. It's what I think if I would have played more of it, it probably would have ended up higher on my list. But just the, I don't know, 5 or 10 hours that I played, you said the words like immersive, and that game is everything, encapsulates everything about the idea of immersion. I hope it did well enough so that we can see more of that, and they can expand on that like world and kind of everything that they're building around it for sure. Because it's a hell of a thing. Do you know if you could play that with could you use that? The
wheel. I never tried the wheel.
I wonder if the wheel would work.
I don't know if I
that.
had it by the time I finished it.
Yeah.
I'll have to try it. I'll try it and report back.
Yeah, I don't know if a wheel would work with that. Chat's saying you cannot.
Okay.
That sucks. That sucks. All right, my number one, I don't think is going to come as a surprise to any people or anyone that's been watching. It's, I will say this. Had we have not, and I'll say this only because the actual game is not that interesting to discuss. Had we have not had the rules that the game had to come out this year and all that type of stuff, my number one would actually have been World of Warcraft.
Oh,
because I don't, I'm in bad. And I don't even like, I'm not even like a classic fanboy of World of Warcraft. I don't even care about retail, but there's something about OnlyFans and like logging in and having a shit ton of people being like, hey man, how's it going? Can I get some water? Oh, I need a port to this place. Like, it's just kind of like home in a lot of ways. It's got a very like homey, comfy feel. But because we can't put that on the top 10 list, this next game did the exact same thing, but with a smaller group of friends that I had never really gamed with that much before. And now we have a Discord channel where there's 14 of us, and we're like setting up sessions and scheduling times when no one's streaming so that we can all play the game together. We have alt accounts so that we can play with people that are lower ranked than us, because the game has a weird ranking system to where if you're ranked too high, then you can't play with someone that's too low. And like, I've never cared that much about a shooter before. And it really is like Marvel Rivals is just, it's what Overwatch 2 should have fucking been. Like it really, really is. And you put Marvel characters in there, I'm fucking on board. I get excited about the characters that have leaked / been announced. Cause I'm a Marvel fanboy and people are like learning like, oh, why is Squirrel Girl a character? It's like, well, actually Squirrel Girl is one of the strongest people in the fucking in the Marvel universe. It's like, no, she's not. Actually, she kind of is. She's like one of the strongest people, man. And like the memes that have popped up for this are fucking hilarious. They're like, my TikTok is just filled with absolute bullshittery around this game. And that's what my nightly, I get in bed, I like get my fucking Whataburger Snuggie that I got for Christmas right here. I put that shit on and I just browse TikTok and see Wolverine furry memes and fucking the Luna Snow dancing to some Mexican song that's really catchy that gets stuck in my brain. Like Jeff fucking getting the 10-person ult and then fucking up. Like, it's just funny. It's just crazy to see people memeing about that type of stuff. And then not even talking about the actual game, which I think is very well done. It's just like a very solid hero shooter. It does have its small little quirks that are, an annoyance. But I think if you're playing a hero shooter and not getting frustrated, or if you're playing a competitive game and not getting frustrated, it means you don't fucking care about the game. And that means that the game's not good. And this game's really good. And so if you go look at Ninja and Tim the Tatman yelling at one another, it's really crazy how much they care about this game. It's some funny shit. Seeing two people that are like, almost my age, lifelong friends, they're just losing it on one another. And then they're like, hey man, you want to go get a beer? Yeah, they probably will after that. I love that games can do that to people from a competitive aspect. And you can just, turn that on and turn that off with people. It's awesome. It's also free. And I people were like question marking about the NetEase thing. It's wild that NetEase put this game out. One, that it's as good as it is, and two, that it's not monetized to shit. Like in a lot of ways, I will applaud them for that, because they could very easily just say like, fuck all of you. We're going to charge the shit out of you. But there's only like a handful of skins. So hopefully they keep that up. Hopefully I'm not on this show a year from now, like I was with Overwatch, where it's like, they fucked it up. It's all shit now. because that's exactly what happened with Overwatch after I gave it Game of the Year in 2016.
Yeah, didn't you give it Game of the Year 2 times in a row or something? Wasn't that a thing?
I gave it I gave the beta Game of the Year, and then I gave it Game of the Year when it came out. Yeah.
When it released, yeah.
That's right.
That's how much he likes these games, guys.
Yeah, I play the shit out of these games. So it's a blast. I love Marvel Rivals. Shout out to the crew that I've been playing with, Alb, Amanda, Sam, Jinx, Naomi, all of those folk. It's been an absolute blast. We'll keep playing. And hopefully none of us take it too serious that we're screaming at each other one day on a call. Because that will be where I dip out. But I don't think we'll get to that point. So it's a good one.
For the people, there was enough people asking, where would V Rising have been on my list? It probably would have been number 7 and bumped Star Trek on down 1, and Angerfoot would have been 11.
What game was that would be at your 7?
V Rising.
V Rising. Yeah. I think if I had
I forgot actually came out because I put 100 and whatever hours into it in early access.
Yeah. That's the thing for me is I played so much of early access that when I went back to V Rising this year and I cranked it up to that hardest difficulty, as soon as I saw I think it was the ice person at 50 power or whatever. Nah, man, fuck that shit. That shit was a nightmare on the hardest difficulty. That was so unbelievably difficult. I just bowed out. So I think that's it.
No, and for those of you asking, where's Balatro on the list? That game, I liked it, but that game surprised me and how many people fucking loved it. I didn't know that was going to happen because I played it way before the hype, and I was like, "This is a fun game, a fun little poker game that I thought was just going to go by the wayside." I'm going to play it, but nobody else is because I play indie games, No, I had no idea that it was going to come out of left field and be like, Balatron! I was like, holy shit. So, it didn't change my opinion of it because it got hyped.
Yeah.
I liked it, but I don't know if it'd be in my top 20, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Balatro was the game that I played, and on my first, deck or whatever, first go, I Balatroed or whatever it is when you win. I won and I was like, cool. And everyone in chat was like, what the fuck? How did you fucking win? It's I don't know. I'm good. That game is all right. And then everyone lost their shit at it. It just didn't grab me for whatever reason. So
that was honestly on my list for biggest surprise was how Balatro blew up.
It did. Yeah.
No question.
And I think the mobile.
I will stand by my sound design choice though, because those noises made me want to go to Vegas.
They know what the fuck they're doing with that, without question. I think we have the next. If we do this, okay. So yeah, this is the community top 10, and then we'll combine everyone's together. So I'm just gonna kind of slow reveal these here. Number 10.
I'm guessing Barry has already done that.
Yes, I believe he has. Yeah.
Okay.
Number 10. Wow, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth coming in.
Oh, that's one thing I wanted to mention about this game.
Yeah.
It didn't crack my top 10 list because I played one stream of it. And then it was going to be on my list of games I wish I played more of. But I was like, I played a little, so I can't put it on the list. But yes, I wish I played it. And it might have been on my top 10 if I did.
Got it. Okay. That's number 10. Number 9. I thought this would have been higher. Helldivers, number 9. Okay. Number 8. Okay. Space Marine 2. Again, I thought that would, man. So what are you thinking? You thinking Astrobots number 2, number 1?
Astrobot 2, Jones 1.
What do you think Balatro's in this list?
No.
You don't think Balatro's in it at all? Okay.
I don't.
Oh,
shit. I was wrong.
Well, that's Indiana Jones.
Oh, wait, no, 7. Final Fantasy 7. Duh. Final Fantasy 7 is going to be number 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that. Well, Metaphor's probably top 3.
Oh, maybe. But Final Fantasy is also exclusive, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Black Myth Wukong.
Maybe not then.
Coming in at 6. Number 5. There's Balatro.
Oh, it made it. Okay.
So we still got Metaphor, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth.
Yep.
What are the other 2?
Astrobot.
What's the 4th?
What was the top of Co's list? Stalker 2.
It could be Stalker
I don't think
2.
that'll make it.
Satisfactory, number 4.
Ah, there you go. Satisfactory. Yep.
So then Astrobot, Metaphor, Final Fantasy. I'm going to go with Metaphor at 3, Astro at 2, Final Fantasy at 1.
I'm going to say Astrobot 2, Final Fantasy. Wait. No, I'm going to say Metaphor's 1. Metaphor's number 1.
Okay.
Astrobot, Final Fantasy 3.
Okay. I have to wait for them to be fully revealed, so I can't just show all of them. So here's 3,
Okay.
Astrobot.
Okay.
Number 2, Final Fantasy. Really? Metaphor's number 1?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. The
Yep.
Weebs have won. They have taken over. That blows my mind, to be honest, that Metaphor is number 1. I guess it makes sense given all of our communities, though. Like, they do like the metaphors.
Oh yeah, no, this is definitely like a reflection of not the entire gaming world, but our communities.
Yeah,
For sure. That list looks right.
yeah. Barry wants to add thank you to all of the voters. There was 530 plus games voted across 16 categories. There was 5,000 write-in votes for Barry to read and distill in all the categories.
God damn, Barry.
So shout out to Barry for reading through all that stuff.
Ask for a raise, bro.
Yeah, and making all this stuff. That's fantastic. We have the combined list right here. So I'm just going to start going through this. Now, Barry, can you send me how you decided? Did you like weight each game as a, or each ranking? Yeah, so that would make sense because Rivals was my 1, but it was only on my list.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so he put a weight to each one. So, B Rising is up high because it was on both of y'all's list. Stalker is up high because it was on. Wait, Stalker. How does Rivals?
This is number 1.
Rivals was my 1.
Yeah.
Barry, how did you do this?
Yeah, what the shit? They should have been a tie between Stalker and Marvel Rivals.
This
What
is
the
shit, Barry.
Go gets more weight because he's Go.
Wait, hold on. This is probably community votes thrown in as well.
Oh, community and us. Okay.
Yeah, it's also community votes. So yeah, that's okay. Astrobot's number 1.
Yep.
You know, I'm cut. This is not a bad list.
Good list, man.
That's a good list.
I dig it.
Oh wait, Barry says just the panel, no community. Well, then I don't understand that fucking list. unless he didn't do ties or something.
No, I think Ko was more emphatic about Stalker 2 being his number 1 than you were about Marvel Rivals.
Maybe not. Maybe so. I don't know. We'll have a word.
Maybe
with
Barry
Barry.
assigned negative points for it being, Marvel
He might have.
or NetEase.
It might have just started at a negative. Yeah. Wait. So. Wait, what did you just send me, Barry? If I correct for V Rising, it's that. Oh, so if he corrects. Okay, yeah. So this has actually not been fully fixed for Co's.
No, I asked Barry not to worry about V Rising. I fucked up, so let it go.
Yeah, because Marvel Rivals and Stalker 2 were 9 and 8 at both 10 points. Pacific Drive was 11 because that was your number 1, and then I bumped it up with my 10th on my list, so it was number 7. V Rising was 6th because 12 points. Satisfactory had 13 points. Warhammer had 14 points. Indiana Jones and Metaphor all had 14 points. So it was a 3-way tie for second. And then Astrobot was number 1 at 17 points.